Beach House in Baltimore. Happy Halloween, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, but most importantly, Happy Festivus. And that's why I'm wearing my purple Santa ho-ho hat here this week as the former Baltimore Colts come to Baltimore here to F up our season. I thought it would be a good time to rekindle some old friendships and bromances. I've been loving this guy for about 3 decades now. I did not know him as a child when my father took me out past G&A Coney Island Hot Dog in Highlandtown on a Super Sunday MTA ticket from the 23 to the 22. I would go out to Memorial Stadium, and I would get in the seats early. And my dad and I sat in the good box seats for baseball. So lower section 40, 41, section 1, section 2, behind the screen. And we would sit there. My mom would make me hot chocolate. My dad would have a little spiked toddy. And we'd come out there nice and early because my dad wanted to see Burt Jones warm up. And I was 6, 7 years old, whatever it was. And there comes the band out there. And here's John Ziemann. What's going on, John? Welcome in, man.
Nestor, thank you so much. And you said about the G&A. That's my old neighborhood. The best Coney Island hot dogs. Their chili is the best.
Where'd you grow up? I don't know. Like, give me a little landing point for you.
Okay, East Baltimore, Highland Avenue, Pulaski, right on 409 North Highland Avenue is my house. I was born and raised there, and I'm very proud to be a Patterson Clipper. You know, Patterson High School all the way. Go Clippers, go blue and white.
You know what,
colors
man?
As the Colts.
I had no idea that you were East Side like that. You know,
I'm
City Line East Side. But I was, I'm Dundalk. But I thought I was Essex when I was a kid. But I'll tell you what, man, the one thing we shared the Colts, right?
Sure did.
I went to my first game, and I always tell Stan White, he separated Joe Namath's shoulder that day. The Jets beat the Colts 34-10. You can look it up back in early 1974. I was 5 years old. My dad took me out to the games. And, I always loved the Colts. I loved everything about them in the 70s. And Burt Jones and Goes to the Post and the lunatic Croner putting the plane into the upper deck. But, John, just to fast forward where we are right now, and I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You've been a part of this from the beginning, and books have been written and movies have been made about you. But you are the ghost of Baltimore football past here this week on the program. I'm writing a 3-part series this week to sort of assess where this is going with these empty seats right now. It's the purple elephant in the room here and the knee and all of that. I'm a little worried right now. In a week when the Colts are coming here, that we don't have enough Festivus lights hanging. People's association with the team has changed. And certainly there's nothing wrong with the team, and I don't think the team's done anything wrong. I don't think the franchise or the ownership's done anything wrong here. I'm trying to figure this out because you and I are getting older, and we remember what it was like to not have a team around here. We remember how hard we had to work to get this team around here. I'm just questioning what this is all about and what's going to become of this 5 or 10 years from now. Because, John, I would tell you in 1969, 70, 71, if someone would have told you the Baltimore Colts aren't going to be here anymore, or someone would have come up to you in 1976, 77 in that era and said the Baltimore Colts aren't going to be here in 1987, you would have looked at them like they had 3 heads. And right now, I can't tell you, watching St. Louis lose a second team, San Diego, Oakland down the line, that these empty seats worry me because I saw this once and so did you. I was a kid, you were a grown-up, but this is disturbing to me, and I want to tackle this and I want to talk about this as a radio station, as a media member, as a PSL owner, as a fan, as someone who lives and pays taxes here and lives downtown. I'm concerned about what's going on here, John. Should I be?
No. And let me explain the reasons why. Going back, like you said, I'm the old man of the group. I've been with the band now 55 years. Next year will be 56. And I've seen it all. And like I said, I get a lot of, not ridicule, but teasing from the band. Hey, old man, you play drums. Did you drum for the North or the South? I mean, it's kind of things I get from the Marching Raven drum line. But there's one thing, and that's stability. When the Colts were here, and we're going through the process of, the team, people not going out, we had an idiot that owned the team.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
There was no stability. Nestor was no stability. Now we have a gentleman, first-class gentleman, owning a team who wants a team to be here. This team's not going anywhere.
Well,
This team, Steve Bisciotti is one of the best. And Nestor, you know me. I tell you.
Oh, this is not a knock on Bisciotti, but Bisciotti's not going to be here forever.
But that gives you stability to the team. You don't see Steve going to other cities saying, "Hey, you want my team, the Ravens? Make me a deal. You want the Albuquerque Ravens? Make me a deal." He's invested money in that stadium. He's invested money in the community. He has invested money. Look, right, you go out to see the complex. Folks, you don't realize Mr. Bisciotti put his own money in to enlarge that complex out there in Owings Mills.
It's coming together.
Yes, and like I said, it shows you he wants a team. He wants a winner. Yes, let's say it. He bought the team. He's got to make money on a team. But the one thing about Steve Bisciotti is he's a fan. He cares about this team.
There's no doubt about that.
You see it more than I do, sir.
My issue is 20,000 empty seats in the upper deck right now. That's what has me concerned.
It will come back, Nestor. It's going to take time. And it's nothing that I say the ownership has done here. It's nothing, like I said, that the front office has done. They are so dedicated. That's why you never can get a job out there, because nobody leaves. Well,
that's what concerns me. What concerns me is there is no apology coming from the organization for the people that are pissed about the knee, that are undoing their purple man caves. And I laughed at that when I got off the plane from London, 8 weeks ago, that people would actually turn in their purple fan card or their PSLs. But I tell you what, John, out on Facebook, I see the tickets, people giving them away. I see the way people are talking about the Ravens as though not going to the game is some sort of badge of honor for their Americanism or whatever. And I see the Ravens trying hard with all this military stuff inside of the stadium. I don't know what's happened to the mojo of all of this. We don't have purple lights hanging downtown right now. The team's too pretty, I don't want to say easy wins. I mean, there are no easy wins in this league, but they're going to win these two games here at home. Part of it is our home field advantage. Part of it is our third down noise. And it's starting to bother me a little bit that I'm seeing this fracture in it, and I don't know that Steve Bisciotti has an answer, or that Dick Cass has an answer, or Ozzie Newsome, other than what they can do is win, right? I mean, and they're on the road to doing that. They're doing their job.
They're doing their job in the Ravens front office. I see it every day. They're doing their job. And again, I want to do a disclaimer. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Ravens. Let's make that clear. I'm speaking on behalf of John Ziemann, average fan. I own season tickets. I'm a fan. I'll be there to the end. And like I said, long, I hope, after I'm gone. But what I see, it's not the Ravens front office. They take their marching orders from the National Football League. You got to realize that, Nestor, and you know that. They got to take their orders from the National Football League. And they set the pace of what to do. And so, like I said, I've seen it many times where a policy has to go through the NFL down to all the teams so that they're together. And I know this is a situation that hurts the Ravens because they love their fans, and they're trying to get through it. They're trying to get out there among the fans. I know the band's been out there among the public, the cheerleaders, the playmakers. We've increased our visibility out to the fans, and I guarantee you, it will come back.
Let me say this, John.
But we have to wait for the NFL to make the correction, and the Ravens have to listen to the NFL.
To where we are, I just got off a plane from Cleveland Monday morning, right? I mean, I had the 4 a.m. wake up. I had the 4:30 Uber ride at the Cleveland airport. I was there for 36 hours. I was out on Saturday night at Michael Simon's restaurant. I was amongst the people during the day. And I went back to look at Memorial Stadium in 81, 82, 83, and the fans, 18,000 for this game, 22,000 for that game. I'm going to tell you there were 13,500 people in the stadium in Cleveland. I might be off by 2,000 or 3, but there weren't 20,000, but there weren't 10 either. There was more than that. And there were some Ravens fans out there, and I saw Harbaugh was all effusive in his praise or whatever, and that's great. But I see what bad football and bad ownership in the modern era has done. And it's part of the St. Louis, that stealing that team again out to L.A. was that the team stunk so bad in St. Louis that people didn't feel compelled to renew their season tickets. And what this franchise has been here over 22 years versus what those poor people in Cleveland have had to endure after Art Modell left them with, no quarterbacks, no coaches, no leadership. They got this owner. He might be going to jail. All this stuff that's going on out there. And I think to myself, what did you want from a football team when it came back here in 1995 and 96? What have the Ravens promised and not delivered, from competitive football to guys that live in the community? This radio station being partnered with Brian Billick, who's my partner here on behalf of the Living Classrooms Foundation. How many people have laid down roots? The way you've been treated, the way the Stan Whites and the Bruce Lairds and Johnny until he passed away, and Lenny Moore, still to this day is a regular. I don't know what you wanted from the. Sure, we would have preferred that Ray Lewis not be in an orange jumpsuit. Ditto Jamal Lewis and anyone else that follows in that pathway, and whatever tragedies that had befallen the Ravens at various points, and the Ray Rice incident, which was, a stain on the organization, and I think they would agree on that. But by and large, soup to nuts, from the moment Art Modell arrived, pained look on his face with Paris Glendenning over in that parking lot as I sat there next to Peter King, and you were there, and Governor Schaefer was on the outside looking in like a puppy dog with his nose pressed up to the glass. From that moment until this Saturday when the Ravens take on the former Baltimore team, tell me, what you really would have wished to beat there. Sure, I wish we would have beat the Colts in 06. Sure, I wish Billy Cundiff didn't shank the kick. Why, I wish Harbaugh would have called a timeout. I mean, I got a lot of things like that, but I don't know what you want from the franchise. You know what I mean? If you own tickets and you're not going to the game right now, what the hell do you want? I mean, they're 8-6. They're playing playoff games here. The prices have gone up a little bit. Maybe the beer's a little warmer and the food's not as good, or maybe the parking and certainly the getting rubbed down for security before you go in. I mean, there are some elements of it. Maybe you want an escalator now because you're getting a little. I hear all of that. So does the team. But I don't know what more the team could do. You know what I mean? What better a guy Joe Flacco could be? What better an influence on the community Ray Lewis could have been, and dancing? And I just think of this era as being really glorious. And I am a little worried that people are staying away, John. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it this week, man.
Well, you got to realize, Nestor, also, and I feel very strong, it's a bad situation. Any team, you just hit it, has stains on their history, no matter what. But the one statement that Art Modell made when he came to Baltimore, and I agree with him, and it was to the people of Baltimore, it's just like one sentence, and Steve Bisciotti has also picked up on this. We're not here to erase your professional football history. We're here to add to it and make you proud of us. And no truer words has ever been said. That should be engraved on the stadium. That has been engraved. I feel very strong about that. Should be engraved on the stadium, because that's how this team feels. Nestor, you're more on it than I am about other ownerships. I just read what I read in the papers. I only know 3 or 4 owners, personally. But you've got to see what they produce out there. All right, some of our drummers went to Pittsburgh this weekend because they're invited by the other week to go up and be with the Pittsburgh drum line. And some of their representatives came down to us. They couldn't get over what the band alone gets, and how first class the organization treats the band. And then they walked around and saw the fans. They set out Ravens Way, Ravens Walk. That goes to David Modell. I always said he was a P.T. Barnum of the National Football League. All that. The Bisciotti, organization has enhanced it. So, they've tried to make it a family-friendly thing. And I guarantee you, they've already started. They have a wonderful marketing department. They've already started on marketing for next year. We've had major meetings on them, how we can get back out to the fans to show we love them. And they do. The Ravens organization does love the fans. It's not just a facade.
I tell Kelly all the time, keep sending me those emails when guys are out doing turkeys or reading to kids or doing stuff. Guys are doing stuff out in the community all the time. And, okay, does it have a corporate name on it? Sometimes, because that's the way we all make money around here, and that's the way we feed ourselves. So I'm not going to knock advertising money at this point, especially when it's coming from the right place and coming from the heart. But as a community endeavor, I just don't feel like the Ravens have done anything wrong or owe anyone a mea culpa, and certainly not their players of color for defending their people. I have no problem at all with that in regard to C.J. Mosley, in regard to Tony Jefferson and Brandon Carr, who I've had long conversations at their locker about some of these topics, and I think we'll be talking even more about that in the future as politics move forward and football moves forward. And more than anything, John, when these season ticket renewals go out in the winter, that's when people are going to speak or not speak, and I do have some concerns about that. I really do, and it's the first time I've ever had concerns because it's the first time we've seen these seats empty and people not coming to games, and it disturbs me because of the history of it and where that goes when the slope starts to get slippery, because I've seen it happen here, and so have you.
You have hit it right on the head. You said it's not going to hinge on if the Ravens make the playoffs. Because some people who feel, and I don't speak for the fans, there's no way I do that, but some people, and I put myself in as a fan, okay? And if I feel the way, the situation with, the Star-Spangled Banner and all, and I sit back and say, well, I'm going to reevaluate what the Ravens done, what they've done this year, how they're going to handle it, what's going to happen in the offseason, whether I'm going to renew. Yes, there's going to be people that's not going to renew. We know that. It's coming. We know it. And that's where I know the great marketing department of the Ravens organization, along with Baker Koppelman down the ticket office, they're going to get out there and do a major blast. They're going to go out there and show to the fans, we still love you. We want you back. And it's no tokenism. We want you back.
Well, I think the only thing they can really do that's within some sort of power, other than putting a billboard up or flying a plane, would be to win football games. I mean, and I know...
And that you just said it, Nestor. You hit it right on the head.
Well, and they're winning football games right now. So for me, 8-6, Christmas weekend, the kind of angst this community could, should, and does have in regard to the... I remember when the Indianapolis Colts coming in here alone should stop traffic, It doesn't anymore. It doesn't. I mean...
You know why?
And I guess even for you, part of that goes away because, we're Ravens fans. That's just what we are right now, right?
Nestor, you got to realize... Let me go back. Sports Legends Museum, when I worked there, okay? The last few years, we had a gigantic display on the Baltimore Colts. We get kids coming in elementary school all the way up to high school. And the first question they ask us, why do you have Indianapolis Colts in your museum? Then we got to do the interpretation of why we have Baltimore Colts. And then you can see them with a puzzled look as they go out of the gallery going, oh, yeah, we didn't know that. That's why you have the statue of that guy, John Unitas, down the stadium with a Colt helmet on. Now we understand. It's 33 years, Nestor, since they've left. And a lot of them, you got to realize, they were in Indianapolis longer than they've been in Baltimore now.
33 and a half. I did the math on it.
Okay.
It happened in March.
Your beautiful wife probably did it for you.
Well,
but, you got to realize, Nestor, it's a generation that's fading. My generation, I'm 70 years old. My generation is fading.
You're a young 70, Ziemann. I never think of you as older than like 52, 53.
Oh, man, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But you got to realize the younger generation's coming in who don't know the difference. They're cheering against the Colts because they're Indianapolis, not because they were the Baltimore Colts. I saw that the last time the Colts were in Baltimore. It's starting to fade.
You know what's really weird, John? And maybe this speaks to my Rolodex. And I literally this week, I thought to myself, I'm going to stop the entire radio station this week. And all I'm going to do is talk to people like you, people that have a link, right, to the Colts. And I don't have 25 people. Literally, I'm not being a jerk. I don't really have 25 people that can discuss it I mean, they're gone. Governor Schaefer, I can't call him. John Stedman, I can't call him. There's a lot of people. I'm going to call Vito Stellino. I've called Ken Murray. I'm talking about like reporters that were around Bernie Miklasz, people that were around. Vince Bagley is still with us, thankfully. But Chris Thomas, I can't call Chris Thomas right now, right? I mean, so, trying to find people that can, because really the perspective to me, John, isn't, well, we got screwed in the Mayflowers, or the guys here took the knee and fans are pissed off at the organization or whatever. The bigger story is, for me, and this is where you and I have been talking about this for 20 minutes, is what has this thing represented? Because I got off the plane in Cleveland, and it could have been that, which is horrific, which is what we had when Irsay left, which was horrific. And it was what Indianapolis got for 15 years. That all the years we weren't in the league, most of it, they stunk, and they stunk awfully out in Indianapolis for most of that time. They got better under Marchibroda and Harbaugh right when we came back into the league. But, look at what the Bidwells were in Arizona all of those years. Look at the Buccaneers and what, they have no legacy in Tampa. All these teams that talked about moving here, the Rams have moved twice since talking about coming here, and Georgia Frontiere getting together with but what we got out of all of that bucket of Al Davis and these moved franchises is we are the winners in the NFL. We've had the best 22-year run out of anyone this side of New England or Pittsburgh, literally. I don't know what more you could expect from the franchise 22 years. They don't owe you. What more do they owe you other than what they've been, which has been better than almost anything you and I could have imagined that day in the parking lot when Art Modell looked very, very pained over there with Paris Glendenning.
But you got to realize, Nestor, let's go back, okay? You say we've been here, 22 years, something like that, right? I'm pretty sure 1996. Look what we've accomplished. This is a city that Baltimore, they didn't want, the NFL didn't want us. They did not want us, and the Redskins played a major part in trying to keep us out. We fought for it. You fought for it. Stedman fought for it. I fought for it. We all fought. Our wonderful fans fought for it. But it shows you, look at the teams that are failing now. That are totally failing, and Baltimore is blossoming because of the fans, because we never gave up. I bumped into some people a few years ago when they were going to move the Rams. And some St. Louis people, and I said, hey, look, I'm so sorry you're losing a franchise. And they said, look, we're not crazy like you people in Baltimore. You people are nuts. You're like a little terrier that grabs onto a rag and you shake it and the dog won't let loose. He said, you were biting the ankles of the NFL, and they finally had to let up on you guys and give you a franchise. Something had to be done because you guys never give up. I don't see LA fighting for the team. I don't see,
Carson. Oakland's not fighting either. Oakland just letting the Raiders go.
Oakland's letting the Raiders go. And it's the same way, like I said, St. Louis is letting their team go. Nobody's fighting for their teams anymore. We did. And that's why it's going to be a stability. It will come back, Nestor. I guarantee you. It will come back. It's going to take time to rebuild. But the Ravens are going to show themselves in the community that they really care.
John, appreciate you. I really care, and that's why they made a movie about you and the band that never died, and you can go Google that and 30 for 30 that and Barry Levinson that. And you can find John at a Ravens game. You want to come see Ziemann? Buy a ticket. Come to the game Saturday. He'll be there. How about that? Is that good?
We do a concert an hour and a half right outside of Oriole Park.
So you guys play Bruno Mars now? Are you getting like all hip?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, we go to modern music if you've ever been to the games.
I know.
You name it. Beyonce, you know it. We do it.
I hear you guys playing all the stuff the young kids are listening to.
and that's our generation, Nestor.
As long as you keep playing the fight song, I'm good, all right?
Well, like you said, you're not badgering me on that. Every time I'm on the radio, you would nail me on that one.
You know what, man? I got to get my aunt, who passed away 2 weeks ago, my mom's sister.
I'm sorry.
She was 93 years old, lived an incredible life. She would always call me and play Happy Birthday on a kazoo, and my cousins all say that she has like 25 kazoos. I'm going to get one of her kazoos, and every time I bring you on, I am going to play the Colts fight song on the kazoo.
I would be honored.
I used to do that back in the 90s, but I had like a little a whistle pipe thing that it sounded like a recorder. You know, you're a musician. You know what a recorder is. I don't need
Of course it is.
Give me a little recorder. I'll play the you got to teach me how to play the Colts fight song on a recorder. That would be good. I'll come out to your place. We'll learn.
I'm a percussionist, so I'd have to get somebody to do it for brass. probably Dan Fake, our music director.
Percussionist. Who's the greatest drummer of all time? Not you, John. Who's the second greatest drummer of all time?
To me?
Yes.
Gene Krupa.
All right, there you go. I just
Some
wanted to get a straight
Buddy
answer.
Rich, but Krupa, Gene Krupa.
Next time I have you on, we're going to discuss the history of jazz and rock and roll. All right?
I'd love it. And also, just a fast
plug. You want to plug something?
Baltimore's Marching Ravens are holding auditions.
When? Okay. Where? Tell me more.
Okay. Anybody interested, you got to be 18 years old, have a background in music, of course, a background in marching, and 18 years old and up. And you go to www.baltimoreravens.com/marching ravens, or call me at 410-491-3778. That's 410-491-3778. Call around the clock. I'm here to get information. And like I said, become part of the Marching Ravens. We'd love to have you, the excitement.
You know what's funny, man? You're like, well, if you have any music background, I'm like, well, I sang with the Smithereens once and I sang in a band. And then you're like, do you have any marching experience? And I'm like, yeah, I do. We marched in New Orleans for a Super Bowl, and I remember a certain Free the Birds march through the Inner Harbor back in September of 2006. So,
we'll teach you, Nestor.
I do have marching experience. Get out of here, Ziemann. We'll see you soon. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas.
Love to your family, and happy holidays to everybody up there, and just ask everybody to please support our Baltimore Ravens.
You got it. Of course. We're going to see you on Saturday. It's the 23rd. We'll be there. The band will be there. They'll be pumping out the Bruno Mars. You can find me out in the Bayou Toyota.com Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. We plug G&A Coney Island hot dogs in Islandtown. They are the best hot dogs in the world. Go see Andy for the holidays. Tell him we said hello as well. Also got to plug our friends at Compass Point Golf Course. Now, a little snow on the ground, but the minute it melts off, the minute we get sort of that 52, 55-degree day and you want to go out there and golf, they're going to have it for you down at Pasadena. CompassPointGolf.com, the bikini-waxed, manicured greens of the winter. You can go play. Go do that. Why not? Morning Newspaper delivers to your email inbox every morning. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. If Manny Machado is traded, and I just know he's going to get traded, wink, wink, you'll get it first in the WNST Tech Service. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis is here on Thursday from 3 until 5. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live right here on our Facebook Live, as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. You can even see my funny hat. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.